Eighth annual South Dakota Salutes Appreciation Shooting Competition underway in Humboldt. South Dakota Salutes was organized to show appreciation as those who serve and protect the state. The event is free for first responders, military members, and veterans. South Dakota Salutes established a loss of life fund to provide funds for South Dakota families of first responders and military who have died in the line of duty.
You don't always feel the gratification of what you do, but these type of events kind of send us a signal that, you know, the people of South Dakota really do appreciate the type of effort and the sacrifices that the first responders make.
South Dakota Salutes also started a special needs fund. This helps fund unmet needs of rural emergency organizations. Since establishing this fund 2 years ago, South Dakota Salutes has awarded grants to 14 emergency response organizations throughout South Dakota.